r/AskReddit. Those who have been caught masturbating or having sex, how did you handle that? What happened? Once my wife caught me masturbating and just said, "Whatever dude, you do you," and I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now," and she just went into the next room, but I was kinda proud of myself for that response. "Hey wife, care to join us?" Was going down on my girlfriend. She was basically in the doggy position facing their door. Then the door flew open. It was my roommate's boyfriend, who didn't know we were home and wanted to borrow my PlayStation controller. He very quickly closed the door, and apologized. And apologized more. And kept apologizing and explaining what he was trying to do and how bad he felt. Until I had to tell him that yes, his apology is accepted, and that I'm kinda busy, so if he could stop interrupting, that would be great. It's rude to talk with your mouth full. It was a hotel party, and the hotel room had sort of two separate rooms that were connected. Everyone was in one room and partying. Myself and the girlfriend snuck into the other room and started getting busy. Midway through, my buddy just barges in, looks at me, says, "You're doing it wrong," grabs a pillow and leaves. I was laughing too hard from the comedic timing on his comment to keep going. Overall, not a bad time. What were you doing wrong? According to him, my roommate walked in on me jerking it, so I just kept doing it. He left immediately, but, damage already done. Might as well make it worth the awkward moment, if you quickly stop as soon as he sees you, that just makes you the guy who got caught jerking off. If you keep going about your business, that just makes him their pervert watching you masturbate. I was at my boyfriend's house and he had just started going down on me. He heard his mum opening the door and I hadn't, so he jumped to the top of the bed. Only thing is, he left my dress up. So he was laying at the top of the bed, but she still got to see my dress up and legs spread open. She just said, "Oh goodness," and walked out. I asked why he couldn't put my dress down and he said, "Every man for himself." I couldn't even make eye contact with his mom after. My fiance's sister walked in on us. We both looked at her as I continued clapping cheeks, and she slowly backed out and shut the door. No one has spoken of it since. All you had to do was to ask. Mother walked in on my girlfriend and I in high school. Never have I so quickly grabbed a blanket to hide our shame. My mother somehow had no clue and decided it was a good time to start talking about dinner while I was trying to talk her out of the room. Took 30 seconds, but it felt like an hour. Wow. She knew. Why do you think she dragged it out? My mom walked in on me having sex with my now husband. Luckily there was a pillow right there, so I covered up before the door was completely open. I guess she was in shock or something, because she stood there and then started asking some random question. I asked her to close the door. Lol, I mean, what else can you do in that situation? Get out, or get weird. Living in the barracks. Roommate walked in on me jerking. Told him, "Get out or get weird." Ha ha ha, that's gold. Getting it on in our room on the cruise ship. Housekeeping knocks once, which we didn't hear. The door opens and now we are staring at each other wide-eyed. She turns around and closes door. We continue while cracking up. She was super friendly all week long. I swear to God, why do they even bother knocking? They just walk in immediately after knocking, just in time to see me running naked to the door. Not necessarily masturbating, but when I was about 12 I for some reason starting simulating bleeping a pillow as if it was a girl on my bed. Thing is, my mum was in another part of the house vacuuming, and unbeknownst to me, left the vacuum on while she came into my room to ask for something. I noticed her standing in the doorway quite horrified and, out of desperation, came up with the excuse that I was practicing front flips, of course. So I subsequently ended up doing a somersault over the edge of my bed and almost breaking my back. Someone I know accidentally somehow called 911 from his Apple Watch while masturbating, so the operator had to listen to that, and the police had to stop by because of his session. Among my friend group we now refer to masturbation as calling 911 help, call 911. You, on it, starts furiously masturbating. I started yelling and tantruming at my mother really loud to get out of my room, hoping my screaming would cover up the sound of the vibrator. When she had swung open the door I had dropped it, and it seemed like if I started feeling around between my legs for it, it would once again just look like I was pleasuring myself under the covers. I really couldn't win that one. Shoulda played Palm at max volume to mask the sound of the vibrator. Outstanding move. Not my story, but my cousin's. He was dating a girl that his mum didn't really approve of. They were pretty religious, so premarital sex was a big no-no, and my cousin still lived at home with his parents. My aunt was pretty sure they were having sex and started trying to catch them at it. Well, one day they were doing the deed on the floor of his walk-in closet and my aunt walked in on them, potentially on purpose, depends on who tells their story, and my cousin just stood up, pushed my aunt back out of the closet and asked, "Did you find what you were looking for?" Then shut the door in her face and went back to sexy time. That story gets told scandalously or proudly depending on which cousin you hear it from. That's glorious. Mine always knocked and then immediately came in anyways. My father would try and sneak up on the door, then burst in, trying to catch me doing something. Eventually I heard him stalking down the hall, so I took off my pants and faced the door, meat in hand, and waited. "Is this what you wanted?" I yelled as he hastily closed the door and ran away. Never had that issue again. Was with a lady in a back room when my brother started opening the door. I shout out, "No oop." He repeats back, "No oop," and closes the door and leaves. My mum was upstairs vacuuming once and I was in the living room and 13. Think I'm safe and start pulling the meat off myself. Hear footsteps coming downstairs, so put the boyo away. My mum walks in the living room, looks me dead ass in the face, starts laughing and says, "Ya playing with your Mickey?" Then saunters off into the kitchen for coffee. No idea how she knew what I was doing. No idea why she laughed and straight up asked if I was playing with my ding dong. Went to my room and didn't come out for 3 days. Ya playing with your Mickey? One night stand when young. Guy was at uni and living with mates. In the morning we were at it, I was on top, then a knock at the door. As it opened, laid as flat as I could with blanket over my head. A roommate and his mum and aunt were wanting to plan an activity for the day. The two guys were from the same town, so these were parent figures from kindergarten. All went smoothly till the guy jumped on top of his mate shouting, "Get up you! There's a girl there." Hilarious now. Mortifying at the time. I was 16, had my girlfriend over for the night. My mother did her usual rapid whip open of my bedroom door while we were in the middle of things in my bed covered by the sheets. She just started belly laughing very loudly, then turned around, walked out and closed the door. It was an effective technique and I'm pretty sure she knew exactly what she was doing, as that killed it for both of us for the rest of the night. She's never said another word about it, and it's been 15 years since it happened. Oh my god. This happened about 4 years ago when we were getting our bathroom remodeled. It was a friend of the family who was doing the work, so he had a key and could come and go even when we weren't home. If there was a car in the driveway, he would always knock instead of using the key. On this particular day, my husband's car was in the shop and so he took mine to work. I was home alone that day. I was laying on the couch reading some smut and using my Vibe when the door opens and remodeler walks in. I grabbed the Afghan off the back of the couch and threw it over my lower half. He went straight into the bathroom. I ran to our bedroom, and we never spoke about it. I've seen a video of that same context before.